Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today we'll be discussing who was Imam Malik radiyallahu anh. Imam Darul Hijrah, Imam al-Medina, Shaykh al-Islam, Faqih al-Medina, Sahib al-Muwatta, al-Imam Malik ibn Anas radiyallahu anh. He was a true gem and a true man of Allah. He was a towering figure in early Islamic history. He is the founder of one of the four Sunni schools of jurisprudence, yani he's the founder of the Maliki Madhab. He wrote the earliest widely accepted and recognized authentic hadith book before Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih al-Muslim. Yani he wrote the Muwatta, which we have labeled today as Muwatta of Imam Malik. He was the teacher of Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala, the founder of the Shafi'i Madhab. Imam Malik, he was talked about in a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "It shall soon be that people are beating the livers of camels, seeking knowledge, but they will not find anyone more knowledgeable than the scholar of Medina." And no doubt Imam Malik, he was a scholar of Medina. The entire ummah is upon the agreement that Imam Malik is Imam al-Medina. Throughout his time, people traveled from all over the world to study and benefit from the knowledge of Imam Malik in the city of Al-Madinatu Munawwara. His book, the Muwatta, was such a book that he spent over 40 years working on it, compiling it, adjusting it, and really just making sure that every hadith is in the perfect spot, with just under 2,000 ahadith in the complete collection. With the Muwatta, there is multiple riwayas. Main reason for this is due to him always teaching the Muwatta to the students that used to come to him, he was also trying to always adjust the Muwatta. He was always trying to update it and improve it and make it even better. That's why there is multiple versions of the Muwatta. The most famous version, the most famous riwayah, is the riwayah of Imam Yahya ibn Yahya al-Masmudi al-Laythi wala al-Andalusi. And Imam Malik said regarding the Muwatta that I showed this book of mine to 70 scholars of Al-Madinah, and every single one of them approved of it for me. This is the extent to which Imam Malik got the book audited and checked. He showed it to 70 scholars to ensure that this book, it's a sound book. Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala, he also said regarding the Muwatta that there has not appeared on the face of this earth a book that is more authentic than the book of Malik. Of course, this statement by Imam Shafi'i was made before Sahih al-Bukhari was compiled, yet it just shows that the Muwatta was a sound and accepted book with total reverence by other scholars also. Imam Malik was also famous for his methodology in fiqh. He implemented the Amal al-Ahl al-Madina into his fiqh rulings. He took the actions of the people of Medina at that time and he saw them as a legal evidence in Islamic jurisprudence, as he believed that the Sunnah, through the Amal, through the actions of the people of Medina, was a living tradition. He recognized that thousands of companions who lived and learned with the Prophet ﷺ passed those exact practices to their children in Al-Madinah. Therefore, if the entire city was already practicing a specific ruling, then Imam Malik, considered this to be a living and unbroken chain and transmission, and an evidence that is even stronger than one solitary hadith chain. He believed that the Sunnah, it can't have been lost so quickly. The time between Imam Malik and the Prophet ﷺ, It's not really that long if you think about it. And Medina, the people of Medina wouldn't be the first to lose the Sunnah. They would hold on to the Sunnah for the longest possible, as they had the Sahaba there, they had the Prophet there. So Imam Malik believed that if the people of Medina are doing an action, then surely it's come from the companions and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His adab was also unmatched. One, he was born in the very blessed city of Al-Madinah Munawwara, and his respect of Medina was of such that every time he needed to answer the call of nature, he would first go to the outskirts of Medina, he would leave the city and then relieve himself and then return to Medina. This was even his adab in that sense. He never rode an animal in the city of Medina because he didn't want his feet to be lifted from the blessed soil of Medina to Munawwara. He spent his entire life in Al-Madinah, in the city of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he only did Hajj once. When people used to ask him that, why do you not go for Hajj every year? Why do you not regularly go for Umrah? It's not very far, Makkah from here. Why do you not go? Imam Malik, he said, it's very beautiful what he said actually. He said that, I fear that if I leave the city of Medina, if I leave the city of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I fear that I shall be disconnected from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam Malik, he didn't even want to physically be like apart from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He fulfilled his obligatory Hajj and then returned straight back and continued living his entire life in Al-Madinah Munawwara. Whenever he used to teach a dars of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would show the most respect ever, to be honest. He would firstly perform a fresh wudu, or in some cases perform a ghusl. He used to apply perfumes and ouds and itr, and he used to always wear his best clothing before he used to step out of his house to go teach. And while teaching, he would never change his posture. He would always sit completely still while teaching for the adab of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Also, on one occasion of when he was teaching, a scorpion came to him while he was teaching and it kept biting his foot again and again. Yet Imam Malik, he didn't even move and didn't even make any expression or show any sign of disturbance to the dars. The students in the lesson, while it was going on, they saw his complexion change, yet he kept on teaching as if nothing was going on. Later on though, after the lesson was completed, the students, they asked him that, we saw your face changing color. You look like, you're sweating and whatever. What happened? Yet then he told them the story of while he was teaching in this gathering, a scorpion came to him and kept on biting him. Yet for adab of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he didn't want to disrupt the hadith class, and he endured it just for the sake of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam Malik, he showed all this adab throughout his entire life. What was the outcome and what was the benefit and result Imam Malik gained from this? It's mentioned that from the age of 7, for his entire life, every night of his life, it stated that Imam Malik would see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his dreams. Every single night he had that blessed opportunity and he was rewarded with seeing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his dreams. And also today, another outcome and benefit Imam Malik received is, today he is buried in where? Madinah Munawwara, the city that he showed so much respect for. He was born in. He is also buried there today. He died there and he is buried there today in Jannatul Baqi, amongst the very Sahaba he used to narrate hadiths for. Sayyidina Uthman, Sayyida Aisha, Imam Hassan, Sayyidina Imam Abu Huraira, the great companion who narrated many hadiths, Imam Malik, he is buried in the same graveyard that they are buried in, and he is amongst the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, and he is also buried in the same city as the Prophet ﷺ.